just kind of used it and was sharing different things that I was doing. And now, the number is interesting. It's like 11,000 people I'm connected to, but much more importantly, because we're able to find each other through the algorithms that they've developed. They just pop up, and I got to connect to this person. And then instantly you can see who you're mutually connected to, which communities you're connected to, and it also creates kind of an instant credibility. So it's not just a meet and greet email, right? It's the idea that people can quickly see the profile. Okay, Kwame, I'm through Stanford, Black Angel Tech Fund, now we got 70 mutual connections. Yeah, I went to school with this guy, let me talk to him. Hey, can you introduce me to Kwame? And then once that intro happens, boom, we're like instantly connected and friends, and we can work together. So again, when you just think it's not just the number, it's 4,000, 8,000, whatever. It's the power of that network. And unlike a Facebook or unlike an Instagram, these are these random people, right? We're talking about top tier business professionals globally, right? It's just extraordinary. So I did do LinkedIn a favor. I wanted to get to 10,000 on the free platform, so I could say I got the 10,000 on the free. But just as a good steward, then I went to the premium version, so I'm on the premium now. I get $6 a month.
Thank you.
Hopefully I get like a discount gift card. So without further ado, let's do LinkedIn.
Thank you, everyone. So I just want you to know my expectations about this weekend have already been shattered, all right? I am so impressed by everyone in this room. This is fabulous. One of the things we want to do is, like, by no means anything in this room should be kept secret. As you all know, this weekend was sold out a month ago, so a lot of people can't be in the room, right? But this event is really an in-room event, and it's online as well. So this part was very important for me because I wanted to make sure that your voices get heard on the network and everyone knows about the great work that you're doing. So I brought in Maya, who is one of our senior editors in San Francisco, and she is the resource around having people know how to use the network to get your voice out. So I'm very honored that she came down from San Francisco. So thank you, Maya, for being here. Everyone, please welcome Maya. But we're just going to go and do a short presentation just to give you an aspect of how to use LinkedIn effectively to get word out about what you do. And also have you do an activity right here so you just get familiar with the network and start, you know, sharing and letting everyone know the great stuff that you're up to. So that's who we are. We've already introduced ourselves, so we're going to skip forward. So just so that you know, we're the largest professional network. Right now we're over 550 million members, and 2 members per second actually join the network. So it's rapidly expanding globally, and this is the market that we want to get your voices out to all these people. LinkedIn is much more than just your profile. In terms of establishing your presence and realizing your potential, you have the profile which you're all familiar with. It's important for everyone to share their thought capital and really get their voice out in terms of what their company is doing, and that's what Maya is going to talk about. And also build a powerful network. Kwame, thank you so much for that, your testimonial in terms of what's done for you. But really think of LinkedIn as your online curation of all the people that you want to meet and connect with. It is such an amazing connector. And also, too, keep learning. We acquired lynda.com about 2 years ago. So one thing you know about today is that you always have to be on the cutting edge. You have a resource there that actually recommends courses for you to be able to keep doing that. I'm going to do something impromptu. So I got an email last night from one of my colleagues when he saw this. And he was just like, wait a minute, I want to make sure people know about how to build a network really quickly. And he emailed me about a tool. We just implemented 100% of the network and actually tried it, and I was really blown away. And I hope that everyone takes advantage of this. So we actually have the person here who's in charge of rolling this out. who's going to show us this new tool, which I hope you'll be fascinated with as well.
So I was giving you way too much credit. I work with product engineering, I know a lot about the products, and so I wanted to make sure you all are aware of a feature that I think you'll find useful. So exactly to Paul May's point earlier, the mission of LinkedIn is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And one way to do that is when you're at an event like this, exchanging business cards and connecting. So if everybody could pull out their phone right now, if you have LinkedIn, it's a LinkedIn app. And if you don't, pull your phone out anyway, pretend. Make me feel good here. So pull out the LinkedIn app, and if you have the latest version, you're going to go to the second tab from the left on the bottom to My Network. So right there, the second tab. And if you have the latest version of the app at the very top right underneath the search bar, there's 3 tiles, and one of them is Find Nearby. And if you click that, say hypothetically you're sitting at a table and networking people that might want to be partners on your board or investors, you click on that, and it may ask you to enable Bluetooth sharing. Go ahead and agree to that. And once you go to the prompt, you should start to see almost everybody in this room start to pop up. So instead of exchanging business cards, we had at my table, someone only had 1 card and they laid it on the table for everybody to hand around. Instead, you go and Find Nearby, everybody within about 50 feet will show up and you can quickly connect, invite, message. Is everybody getting it? Woo!
We gotta be a millennial.
If you're having any trouble with it, let me know. And also, if you have any feedback about the future, I'd love to hear that as well. I'm Mark Wynn from LinkedIn.
Thank you so much. Did everyone connect? Hello, can you hear me? Did everyone connect? Let's go. Let's go. All right, cool. So this one will replace the, we'll add to the business cards and will help you get connected really fast. So you're on your way to building a network. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Maya, who will go through. Okay, there we go. Who will go through thought leadership tips, tools, interactive session, and how to get the word out about what you're doing, and also to share about this weekend. So start sharing. Hashtag make shift happen.
And culture shifting.
And culture shifting.
Use them all. Keep it PG rated. Shift. F-H-I-F-T.
With the FT. Thank you all so much. Very excited to talk about this. But I'm going to talk to you about sharing on LinkedIn, whether it's an article, a short form share, or a video. I'm also going to share with you some examples of some content that you can share, and we'll do a little activity at the end to get you all sharing and starting conversations. So for those who are not sure where to go, like my friend here in the front, just go to your homepage. You got that? Perfect. So you go to your homepage, and at the top of that box, can you all hear me? Sure. Got this? Okay. You go to the top of that box, type in your text, and you can share a short form share there. You can also share an image or a video, and if you want to write an article, you can do that as well by clicking on Write an Article. But as the publishing platform has grown, what editors like myself and also what resonates really with members is timely commentary on the day's news or unique insights about an industry. So when you're thinking about what to share on LinkedIn, whether it's an article, a short form share, or a video, you want to keep these topics in mind, and you also want to drive conversation with what you're seeing in the headlines in terms of the news. I have breaking views here. This is just like your quick take on what's happening in your industry, for example. Any unique experiences that you have, such as the one here, being involved in this event. Talk about what you all have heard. Talk about how you prepared for this event if you were pitching. But these are some of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're sharing on LinkedIn. In terms of articles specifically, I passed out some best practices, so I won't go too into depth on this, but for articles, this gives you an opportunity to dive deep into a topic that matters to you. And so you want to use it to spark conversation. If you want to reach a very broad audience, the best way to do that, and what, like I said, what we look for is commentary on timely topics, so stuff that's happening in the news. How can it relate to your industry or what it is that you do? Of course, there's always a space for general thought leadership and more evergreen topics, so if you want to write about those things, you can do that as well. But some things to keep in mind when you're writing an article is the headline is extremely important. I can't say how many times I see really great articles and headlines that aren't the best. So you want to make sure that your headline is engaging, it entices people, makes them want to click, summarizes what it is that you're talking about. What I often tell people is to run some headline ideas by your friends or colleagues, ask them, which one would you be more likely to click on, but headline is very important. You want to make sure that you use an image. Articles with images tend to get more engagement. And also rich media helps you to hook a reader. So if you're talking about a video, for example, in your article, make sure you embed that video so that folks don't leave your article to go see it because they probably won't come back. In terms of length, you want to keep it between about 500 and 1,000 words. Of course, it depends on what you're talking about, but generally that's a good rule of thumb. And then finally, sharing consistently is very important. This is true whether you're sharing videos or short form posts. This helps to build a habit around your content and also helps you appear in your colleagues' feeds. Oh, I forgot I got the camera. I wanted to include a couple of recent examples of articles. This first one was written by Mary Spio. She is the CEO of a company that creates VR and AR experiences. And this is an article that she wrote about blockchain technology. And she used this article to talk about how blockchain technology is being used in healthcare, for example, payments. And what's great about this is she also talks about her own company and how they're using blockchain technology. This other example from Q Harrison Terry, he talks about how AI can be used for workplace harassment. And so these are just two examples. When you're thinking about what to write, these are good questions to ask yourself. Ask why you're writing this now. This speaks to the timeliness of the article. What knowledge, insight, or expertise can you bring that no one else can? You want to use your own unique experiences when you're thinking about what to write. Definitely try and write with a point of view. This invites conversation and debate as well. So write with a point of view in mind. And finally, is there something that everyone is talking about that you can incorporate? If you are always asked a question or something that is always coming up, that's probably a sign that that's something that you can write about or even share on. Short form posts, a lot of the best practices are the same. You want to share consistently. You can use short form posts to share what you're reading. Again, share from events or conferences that you're attending. You can use it to talk about trending topics or items in the news. But first and foremost, content is very important. So for wider reach, again, you want to write on timely topics. It's also a good idea to start and join conversations. You can do this very easily by just asking a question to your network. And it's also a great idea to engage with what your network is posting, whether it's a like, a comment, or a share. This helps to ultimately lift your own content and also boost engagement. It's a good idea to invite people into your conversation so you can @mention them, and you can, if you ask a question, @mention the people who can weigh in on whatever the topic that you're sharing on. Be sure to use relevant hashtags. So, for example, the hashtag for this event, but there's also a ton of hashtags that are tagged to all types of industries and topics, so you want to ensure that you're using those as well. That helps to lift and surface your content to even more people. And then including a photo or a video where you can is also important, as this increases engagement. These are two recent examples. This first one is from a founder who talked about, he used the news of CEO compensation and how that's on the rise, and he actually shared how much he made last year, which was $27,000. And he talks about his point of view of CEO compensation and then invited people to weigh in on that. And this generated a ton of conversation. A lot of people agreed with him, but some were debating his stance. This other example is from Porter Braswell, who's the CEO of Jopwell, and his team had a morning meeting on the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and he shared the thoughts and conversation that came out of that meeting, and then invited people to weigh in on what they thought. So these are just two recent examples. Take your experiences from day to day, what's happening, what you're talking about, and share on those things. I don't know why I keep wanting to click the computer. In terms of video, if you're more of a video person, you like to share your points of view from video, you can also use LinkedIn's native video app. You go to your homepage, click on the video icon to do that. You can share like a demo, you can share like if there's a panel going on, you can share a clip from that. You can also just, do a selfie and just talk to the camera. But some things to keep in mind is just to start with like something visually appealing or a really great opening line. Definitely want to show it. I want to see what it is that you're seeing. So take your viewer on a journey with you. Details matter, so you want to make sure that folks can hear you, so maybe use a headphone or just make sure you're not in a noisy area. Make sure you're not backlit. It's also a good idea to shoot horizontally in general when you can. Typically, of course, it depends on what you're sharing on, but we usually tell people for the video length anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. And then finally, be yourself. Don't want to come across as too self-promotional, but share what you're doing. If you need more ideas, the Trending Storylines feature is a great place to start. This is curated by the editors at LinkedIn, and it's based on what's happening in the news as well as trending conversations in the professional world. So you can always click into those and then add to the conversation using the corresponding hashtags. That's a great way to, again, respond to timely topics and also ultimately lift your brand and also develop your influence. Now it's your turn. I want to do this little activity if you don't mind. Would love for you all to, again, take out your phone and either you can share a video if you want or just a short form post, but I just put some prompts here that you can use, but of course share on whatever you think is best. But some questions to consider would be, what's the one question that you wish more investors would ask? For the investors here in the room, what's a common pitfall that entrepreneurs should avoid? If you've bootstrapped your own company, which I'm sure some of you in here have done, what are the biggest lessons you've learned or challenges that you've faced? Or what lessons have you learned about pitching or considering pitching from funding? And I know a lot of you have pitched in this room, so if there's something you can share with the broader community or your network about that experience, that's a great thing. And just be sure to use the hashtags #MakeShiftHappen and hashtag culture shifting.
And Maya, I
Yes.
actually did a post a couple of days ago about that, so if you want to go on there and comment, some people started to comment too. So.
Perfect. Go to Andrea's post if you don't want to start your own conversation. Engage with hers, which also helps to boost your own content. And that's it from me. If I guess we can open it to questions. Is that okay? Okay. We can open it to questions. Anyone? Go ahead.
I was thinking about all like the different social media platforms like Buffer that allow you to time your posts.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, is there a good time to post content on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have a great answer. I would say use pretty much just in general other kind of guides when it comes to social media. Generally, I think morning, lunch, after work is a good time. Typically during the week when people are at work, they're more likely to see your content than on the weekend. Although on the weekend there's less people, so more people can probably see your stuff. So I would just use other social networks as a guide. Yes.
Hey, Maya, it's
Hi.
Ariel. Hi.
I recognize some of you.
I know. I was like, that's who she is.
Yeah.
So we connected like 2 years ago.
We've been in touch for a while.
Yeah.
But we've never been in person.
I know. So nice to meet you.
Yes.
So you guys had an influencer program the last time that we spoke. So basically, getting more views, more likes than you would if you were just publishing the content on your own. Does that still exist? And if it does, how can the entrepreneurs in the room get involved?
Yeah. So well, it's different things. We do have an influencer program, but the amount of reach that you can get is actually the same if you're just a person who's not an influencer. The best way to do that is to write on timely topics. And items in the news. As editors, that's what we're really looking for. That's what we want to place in front of other members on the platform. But it's also a good idea to share whatever it is that your network is interested in hearing about. So if you're connected to other startup founders, it's a good idea to start conversations that would appeal to that particular audience. So if you're looking to reach a wider audience, that's the way to do it. And also just @mentioning if you're doing short form posts in particular, that really helps. And you can @mention people outside of your network as well. If they'll respond, that's kind of on them, but try that a few times. Yes.
So for some of the companies, how do you recommend people balance putting things out under their company versus putting things out under their personal profile?
Yeah, well, you can only post from your personal profile. If it is companies can't post, so, yeah.
Well, you answered that question.
Okay. Anything else or related to that? Like,
One more question.
yes.
So, technical question.
Yes, my friend.
So it turns out I have 3 LinkedIn accounts.
We don't advise that.
I have no idea. Are there ways to consolidate?
A consolidation question. You probably want to reach out to help. The help page is Google LinkedIn Help. And yeah, to get that sorted. I don't know if they can consolidate your page because you shouldn't have multiple LinkedIn profiles. But I would go there and see what they can do. But in general, I would say choose one. Maybe choose one where you have the most connections and use that one and delete the others. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to meet after this. I'll get you shared.
I have
Sorry. Okay, good.
You mentioned walking the line between self-promotion and telling what you're doing.
Yes.
Tips there?
Yes, very good question. There's a way to kind of promote yourself without promoting yourself, if that makes sense. I think it's a key to take the person on the journey. So, like, how did you come up with your pitch? Don't give me your pitch. Just tell me, like, how did you prepare for it? Were you practicing in the mirror? How many times did you say it? I think it's about sharing the experience of whatever it is and less about, like, hey, I just launched this thing. Take me on the journey about how you launched that. The earlier example that I used from Mary, who she literally talked about her company and how they were using blockchain technology, which is interesting. It's about her company. She's giving you insights into how they're using a new technology. So that's another way to do it. Just take someone on that journey and, talk about how you're implementing these things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Maya's the real deal. Maya worked Wall Street Journal in Asia, New York. Now she's with LinkedIn. And I so appreciate you partnering with me to come and share your knowledge and definitely do everything that she says. She knows what she's talking about. And definitely get your voices out. Share this weekend. Share with other people in the network what you've been doing. Let them see the great work. This is an amazing opportunity. So everybody, thank Maya again. So I'm going to invite Andrea up. We are having actually going to start promoting, well, Andrea's going to tell you, but basically we're going to start inviting people to start publishing on the network, but with a flair around culture shift. So I'm going to have you tell everyone.
Thank you. So Jackie and LinkedIn is giving us an opportunity to actually create our own content around culture shifters. So we're starting out, I've chosen about 8 culture shifters, many of whom already have a significant following, but they happen to be of color. So there's a particular doctor at Harvard Medical School. He's a cardiac and thoracic surgeon. His story is interesting. What he wants to create in the world and how he wants to wield his power, his knowledge, and his network is amazing. He's got over 300,000 followers on LinkedIn. And so I've chosen some to start, to work out the kinks, to build this whole community, and to build positive examples, bright spot success stories. And I really want everybody to walk away today with that in mind. Again, we can talk about the disparities, the injustices, the problems and such, but the more that you share with people about what is working well and encourage them to improve upon that and be competitive around that, that would be amazing. So I want to share two stories, and then I actually want a gold star and a cookie because we're going to be ending early, which is rare for Culture Shifting Weekend. So I just want to. I want a gold star and a cookie. So I did 2 posts recently. My normal posts, I do a lot of behind the scenes work. I consult a lot of corporations, and then I do these weekends. I don't necessarily care to be super public or have millions and billions of followers, but I do like to post and I do like to share my knowledge. So I did a post about somebody that's actually in this room, Sam Bright. So Sam, will you stand up for a second? Hopefully eBay won't kill me. So Sam is actually, he leads a multi-billion-dollar unit of eBay, the art and collectibles unit. So thank you for spending the weekend with us. Multi-billion, I said that, right? Okay, that's Sam. So I did a post about Sam when I learned about Sam because I like discovering people and I like giving them some shine. So I did a post about Sam and we got about 10,000 likes. My normal posts get like 115, something like that. I have moments where I get a little bit more than that, but in general, it's not huge. So I did a post about Sam, and I think within like 3 days we got 10,000 likes, or maybe it was even more. And he said, wow, Andrew, you have a really amazing network. And I said, no, Sam, you're amazing. Right, so it really wasn't about me. I just happened to, I have followers, they like the content, and I did a little bit longer piece about Sam and his background coming from Harvard and how what he's doing at eBay. So that's story one. Story number two is I decided that I'm like, what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, and all the stuff in between. I still have no clue, it's above my pay grade, but it sounds really cool and I know people doing it. So I decided that I wanted to know who the Blacks and Latinx folks in blockchain and AI, and I'm sorry, blockchain, crypto, and all that. So I did a post and I did the hashtags, Blacks in crypto and blockchain, and it got 40,000 likes in a week. It was bananas, and I said, tag somebody you know that I should know and write about, and that led to me building a database of everybody in that space, which I love doing is build these databases because, you know, we can't find any, allegedly. Not true. So I just wanted to actually share those stories, so play around with it because, you know, 40,000 likes around Blacks and Latinx in blockchain and cryptocurrency, like who gets that kind of, you know, likes? And that's amazing. So lots of opportunity. LinkedIn, thank you for being all that you are and all that you're doing and getting all of your executives here for this weekend, not just today, but throughout the weekend. Remember to see Krista if you want to come tonight. We need you on the guest list, otherwise they might not let you in. And can't wait for all of you to follow us on LinkedIn with the hashtag culture shifting and make shift happen, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
You know, I don't forget faces. What year did you graduate? Okay. That's what it was. Okay. Gotcha. Where are you living? Are you in DC? Me too. Yep. I'm sure we do. I know we're going very well. Oh, okay. Who's your roommate? Is your roommate now, or get out of here, man? Let them know you might not see her. That's my guy, man. Love him to death, and really, he's really a guy. I got that sense. You guys were together. You know, well, I'll see you. Are you here all weekend? I'll see you tonight? All right, see you tonight, man.
Right, so
Okay, one, no problem.
4 words. And I forgot to say this week, just stop outside and just think, this is actually God's masterpiece, and you're like each right on time. And this pain and feeling, one of my lessons. So I did Reba, and then to Catherine, I have 20 branches. So at Uma,
We didn't know what to expect. We were exactly like we didn't do much. You guys. Reservation for one in the Golden House? I got a date pass. I'm always having
yeah, no, you're doing that.
No. Me neither. I was scared.
Compass group. My first investment. Hey, so you can do it. Congratulations. It seems like you're doing really well. You're safe and secure. You're leaving that for challenge again. Your base where? No, yeah, it's very intriguing. Rifkin. Sorry, I don't know about that. Somebody Rifkin. Yes, yeah. I'm actually forced by bringing it together. We're so lazy. You see that? It's actually in my head already. inspired to go to DC was a big city. It'd be like New York, Boston, right? Philly was always a radio reception. I was private. So when I get into work, I'm like, I want to stay with my company. So I can go on and get to grade school, got fluent in something because everything I ever heard. Even before they got all the restaurants, I was Snapchat each other. The restaurants weren't there yet. I had like 25 it's going to be a different world. It's one of these reunions where like every minute is like it's I'm going to figure out what I should sit down over it. Like I'm going to be exhausted. So I'll be in touch. Let's stay in touch. And I mean, you guys do early stage investments. So you just have to raise a fund and start your project. You can be an angel. I love it. Let me just do you shoot out points. Let me answer my email right. How many companies who sell software sell the same product to business users and directly to consumers? Two. The biggest one in the world, and the third biggest one. Second down, that's pretty big, right? Second big down points right now. What companies have impacted more than 2 billion people? One product. Yeah, not with many products. But one product. Facebook, I think, is one of the I never could find them. I mean, Coca-Cola over here, I'm sure 5 million people. If the resume were even.
Great meeting you. Love what you're doing.
That's 30% success. Everyone is like 2 hours away from what's the same? Music isn't even like there's nothing as simple as I need to get a job and here's the best way to get it. Skills. Thank you. Really hot articles running around LinkedIn yesterday. The future of hiring is not what you've done today when you're like you. You can get to that. I do a lot of
go back home. A third get adopted. I was like, I think the best option is to get the current foster care. However, the current foster care can't handle it in one day. So then the next option is residential treatment, which is not like that. To help. So I'd like to go back and figure out where you're going to be. helping them rehab the help getting community involved, getting sponsorship, get bunk beds and sheets and pieces of water, people living at home. Like I said, Surge is very smooth right now. The whole board. Right. Like, Jennifer's like, she's like, don't let yourself get worse. I love it. It's just, then I end up yelling at him because I'm stressed out. Or not just at work. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I know. But I like it. Yeah.
Gives the energy.
So, but, like, somebody that became an advisor, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't wear this. You should absolutely not wear that. So I call myself Champ. Gary calls me Champion Hit. My husband calls me Champion Hit. I'm like, oh, we should do this again. In my head, I'm screaming like, Socially too. Socially, I'm like, we should totally grab dinner. I have no interest. I want to sit down. That's a good. That's a good flag. Get to know. Not getting to yes, we need to get to know. I don't want to know. But that's the common things like that. Like you get inspired, so you're like, let me do more. Right, like you just did. You just did. You're having lunch with me. And you're That's so cool. And what is your business? Where is our
We're down the street. Should we take a picture? We want to do it like the Hollywood backdrop.
That sounds good.
The red carpet Yeah, and next time I'm in New York, like, we'll rip you. Need to get over this, you know. Here's a couple of years. It's going for you. This the conversation we had. That's why I'm not coming. Last time I came here, my friend was like, so why do you have this sandals and like the denim jacket? I don't. Alright, I'll see you talking.
It was nice meeting you.
It was really good meeting you.
Good luck to you.
I'm gonna connect.
Absolutely, please do.
Mama, out of I know. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, thank you.
I feel like it's all real.
I think everything else is such that we speak
I like you too, and I appreciate you. I know it's kind
That's basically the phase I'm in right now. So tomorrow in Atlanta and back.
Literally just saw your second.
I'm like, I'm not ready. I know. I am, so I need to go.
You can make it work. Okay.
Yes, I want to get these colors because this would be really awesome.
So you have an amazing memory because for Franz has good memory, and for you to remember where you met him before he remembered you,
I know.
that tells me you have a memory. What do they say of an elephant? Like
It's a
those.
blessing and a curse. It really is.
Oh, your husband must hate it.
Maybe that's why
Honey, you're not good at that far.
That's why I am not married. I'm like, this chick,
Yeah.
I can't even with this girl. Absolutely. So,
That is hilarious.
yeah, seriously. So yeah,
Her memory's so good. Her husband must hate it. She goes, actually knows probably why I'm not married.
she remembers all these lines. I can't even deal with her. Can't even deal with her. It's too much. So anyway, okay. So are you guys around?
Yeah, we're here for the whole weekend.
So are we. So perfect. That would be really, really awesome.
My mother's Alicia, so.
Oh, okay.
Your name vibrates well.
It's great to be connected again.
Absolutely, same as well. It's funny because people call me Wilma, and I'm from Miami. Because they just like, it's on Hispanic. They're like, no, it's Wilma. I was like, yeah, but my first name's Wilma.
No, but you know why they call you Wilma?
Because of the common Hispanic.
No.
Oh, why?
I lived in Brazil 4 years. So in all societies, calling someone by the last name is an insult. Like, hey, Alphonse, get over here. Like, you know, it's like derogatory.
Right.
In Brazil, it's the only country in the world, calling someone by last name is a term of endearment. So I'm Juan Betancourt, right?
Yep.
In Brazil, no one ever said Juan. Betancourt. Vem pra cá. Betancourt. So because you're African, but you have like a Latin name, you're skin, but because you have a Latin name, everyone's going to think that you're Brazilian. So they're thinking, they don't want because it's a very Brazilian name.
Like the concept.
We'll catch up.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much.
Born in the U.S.
Everyone,
You're like, yeah, I've read it. Have you read that during the No, by any means. Yeah, it's like the triple package, that's what it is. They do Cuban-American, they do Indian, they do over a bunch of different types. They actually do more too. She's so We're not even in it. I know. For the culture, she's I heard if she ain't live, she'll get it. That's awesome. India, U.S., It's an Indian tradition. I think they're making me go, I actually have a passion for like Cuban literature. So have you read a book called Waiting for Snow in Havana? Have you read it? It's phenomenal. About halfway through. No. It is one of the blue chip books. So many people that I talk to haven't read it. My best friend was fair enough. Right to the next one. My best friend made her first instance is honestly it is. She was born there, won the lottery when they were about 7, and then moved to I live in California, but I went to Portland. Yeah, in Saks. That's exactly where I spent my life. Right, you learn so much and you learn about what
it's where you find like
when I talk to kids, you know, it's this. You want to be like, unless you're going to bridge. So, what's it called again? Alright, well, are you going to be around? I know Elf, but
So using accelerators, people were like, oh really? With accelerators? Oh yeah, accelerators. You can train you with new one. They get excited. I'm sure there's something. There's actually the right job of right things in your life. What's the last It's so cool that everywhere nearby you can just start adding new, like, every network game. I don't like when I love it.
Just want to interrupt 1 second. You're with Roland, right? Okay, I'm Karen Lewis, and so if you guys need anything later, just let me know in terms of facilitation and all of that. Okay. Okay. It's just going to be like right next door. Okay. Okay. And you guys are coming this evening, right? To the fireside chat, right? Okay. So I'll find out if there's some sort of room where, because it's like the next building over. If there's another room for you guys to do something a little more siloed, then we'll go from there. Okay.
It was like in a center around it. It was kind of like the other side.
Okay.
And there's that side of it.
Okay.
So it's just somewhere that's just like out the way.
Okay, so I'll find out about tomorrow, and then for sure on Sunday we'll have a space for you, and so we'll just walk you in. We already know that. I don't know about the space tomorrow, and then I'll see you later. Okay, and just tell him I didn't want to interrupt, so I'll just talk to him later. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Let's find out where they're getting yeah, these people here are really kind of
Something about a sign, and I was looking at gold and word is same word. You measure vibration, and there is a short way of the scientific yeah, this is right. And if you actually measure the song and know the song's good, right? So I have this thought about right. So then I was like, sitting there, I was like, you told me, I said, I remember I had this theory about way more than and then so like, I'm like, yeah, he was like, great, so I didn't there's also any more that water with my water with your lights every day. You walk in the Morimoto ice cream is the way the Lord plays sending love and good words. Water, rice, every day with the one. I love you. 6 months later, doing different work. It's like pictures of water and the water crystals. Saying words the water and take pictures and the vibration. No, I don't even. I just look to destroy it is. There's a reason. It's your vibration.
But it's not like it's like games that we get things in the climb. Right? Yeah, true. It's real cool.
Otherwise, so yours is the case of going sprint, but it's Welsh in the What's her sign?
February 21st.
All right.
All weekend.
I appreciate it. I get you. All right, thank you. Robert, Roland Martin, how you doing?
That's exactly what she does. She doesn't even yeah, I don't know how to stop it.
I'm in Silicon Valley, which is and give me one second. She's afraid how to do it.
What is Vera Rossi doing here? But it's not you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a holler, man.
That's so nice. I got to follow you on Instagram. Okay, right.
You're like, my heart's broken.
There you go. I appreciate it. So
the thing is, you can take someone's
Mine was 30. I have, but it's not that. It's just like really like about the line or something.
There's also Pisces. Where's that from? We're nerding out here. Totally off. Like I said, I'm a big fan of people walk on. So we don't align ourselves with others. Everyone comes out. So people are trying to so trust it. And then she probably gets mad.
Well, a lot of her trust has been broken. So anyway, we'll get through it. Yeah, it was kind of a rough night.
She's a twin?
No.
She's a twin.
Diana's mom. She came to us later.
Oh, she came with you.
Kaden came to us 2 months ago. He's now 5.
He's the one who sounds French. It doesn't mean something good.
Yeah,
In Arabic, it's French.
he's a love.
What's her sign? Answer, no. Gemini? Interesting. So Gemini is just a smiling, happy person that everybody looks at, just like it's always. There's complexities there.
No, he's definitely replacement. Because he's, it's funny, he's very happy, he's very get along, which is thank God because I can't take too much. But the other side of that is like he observes a lot. Scary stuff he observes. Like he knows, he thinks about.
Well, he's also very detailed. Gemini is the first sign. And it's the first sign. What are you going to be doing? I got to figure it out. Here's what I know.
Which I invest like I
smile, I want to act like I don't know. I need to learn to absorb it.
I can see it working. Right?
Funny, you're 2 kids.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, I'll get through it. Yeah, a handful for sure. That's why I go crazy half the time. Anyway, this is very empowering. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it does. It does help. I think that it's just a matter of... Well, I mean, my favorite time of day is drop off. I drop those kids off at the end. And it's like, I am so good. So no, I get my stuff done when they're not around, right? But I mean, it's, no, it's good. It's more comforting. Like they were talking about, I'll be home. I'll be late. I'll see you in the morning. Well, I start to shoot around 8, which is by 9. And then people think that, I could literally, they'll go by 8.
Here's what I do. If you ever have more feedback, yeah, for sure.
As long as I don't run around the house and talk to them. Hey guys, how's
And I'm like, this is being under this is more important. Because like it's like north, it's like okay, like you get out of your comfort zone. No, so excited. So
that's how we're at. That's why these are the people that are like, yeah, that's just our author.
no, I got 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm like, I gotta go stage there.
Oh my God.
Oh, really?
So that age be about 250. It's good.
Mark's the guy who does that way.
Sorry, I gotta take my guy out to the We're gonna
appreciate you. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I started my career at radio, which is so it's kind of interesting to see how many but yeah, I'm very close.
I try to think wherever you are. That's what happens.
They don't understand that.
Well, actually,
exactly. You ain't looking hard enough.
all of a sudden,
I'm with you.
So, yeah. So the show is doing it. It's just making it happen.
Right, well, and it's not
Sure.
like everybody practices.
Yep, go ahead, I got it. Yep. Yeah. Got it.
We're gonna be taken out there too.
Hey, one last time. Okay, do you want to launch something or do you have to get to one?
Underneath that I get my LinkedIn tips.
I know. I'm like taking them back for.
Well, I know. I never had it so succinctly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. No one teaches you how to LinkedIn, so that's great. That's for the mouths of LinkedIn itself. I love that. I saw that, but I didn't know what it was.
You know, you're doing an amazing thing. I'm listening to what you're doing.
I'm just rolling with
I've
you.
had experience with
As I said, I'm the saucer.
Do you work for all
Put it over.
of people? Like,
So we're not all the way through, but we're finding the fastest, we're strategic that the fastest growing segment are who are right below CNA. So skilled nursing and nursing need people too, but our solution for that is actually why we partnered with Southern New Hampshire University. So that's one of the biggest online training programs around they invested in us, and our belief is that from a skills level, and then also from a business perspective, we can start someone most likely to be out of the healthcare world, and they're learning while they're learning while they're working. It's a very valuable something to have right now. At the same time, I want that same caregiver to be able to take the transfer of your skills, because she already has learning skills that can help her become a nurse, all the way on up to SNHU, so I can hand over her body of work in our classes to SNHU.
well, it's so important because it gives such a better understanding too of healthcare. Healthcare is not so important, right? And it gives a better understanding of people who are actually going to be, going that career anyway. But do you also like, though, I mean, as far as what your company's trying to do, are you trying to go provide like home healthcare for all income levels, or how are you looking for like people who are in need? Does it matter like if they can afford to pay for it or not?
At that level, so in terms of caregiving for services, we don't touch any of that. We don't touch any of that because those folks are our customers, right? You're saying, so Medicaid, right, we provide for those who may be low income. So Medicaid knows right now, this is good thinking around caregiving services. Medicaid knows that for someone who's going to be usually community member, so a child, a mom might be a single mother. So in New York, and I think they can roll out across the entire country. New York, Massachusetts, Florida, they've already started paying that family member as if they were
Got it.
way more effective. A person who's trusted, yeah.
But then they can actually do it because they don't have to go out the minimum wage to survive. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, that's good. That's good regulations coming in.
Yeah.
That whole.
And so our value in that whole ecosystem is like, okay, so this person is now professional caregivers to their loved one or family member. How do we enable and empower them?
Shortcut. Right. Does that not only that person, but then eventually they become as well because now they have to. All right. That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. Oh, it's fascinating.
Thank you so much. No, I'm super excited. Learned this is the most amazing.
I know, what a great event. Are you going to be around this weekend?
I am. I'm going to try to make it in tonight if I'm in, but there's a healthcare focus tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So I asked to be in that, and they're letting me in that.
Oh, awesome.